Hey guys, welcome to the TOWTalk Podcast. I'm here with Neil, and in this segment, we got breaking news. Okay, maybe not breaking news. It broke a few days ago, but we're going to discuss the scandal that's been in the news regarding the young Republicans. So, Neil, I think you had a clip you wanted to share with us with some
Yeah.
information that's got a
I
lot of
think most
background information on it.
right. Most people have heard about the scandal regarding the young Republicans. So I found this clip. It's LIT News Now.
Okay.
That's where you can find them on TikTok. And so that here, let me just play it.
Okay.
Well, the fallout from the Young Republicans group chat continues. It's a good sign when the public swiftly rejects your white nationalist bullshit. Not today, Satan. We have enough on our plate. Seeing this leaked group chat didn't surprise me one bit, and I'll tell you why. This is who Republicans are today. Now, I mentioned last year that the extremists took over the party and pushed out whatever was left of the old guard. Whatever concept we had of the Republican Party no longer exists, and there's no going back. It's gone. And if we're honest with ourselves, the party's been on this path since the Nixon administration and has been progressively hollowed out since Newt Gingrich was House Speaker. Quite frankly, if the party is so easily derailed like this, it was weak in the first place. So it's not surprising that specimens like these are the future of the party. I suspect they're not getting invites to the Make America Hot Again parties in D.C. Since Politico published portions of their group chat on Tuesday, there has been mounting pressure for these losers to resign and disband their state chapters. Two of those losers, Luke Mosselman and Rachel Hope, lead the Arizona Young Republicans. Even though they're resisting calls to resign, the website has been wiped. It's worth noting that Luke Mosselman, the chairman of the Arizona Young Republicans, is affiliated with Nick Fuentes and his groupers.
Ooh.
And here he is on the far right attending an event hosted by one of those white nationalist groups. Meanwhile, the New York chapter was disbanded by a unanimous decision. It'll be interesting to see if it's revived under new leadership. Also, the former chair of the now former New York chapter, Peter Giunta, was fired from his job as chief of staff to Assembly member Mike Riley. Let's just say Peter was already in hot water with his chapter because he was forced to step down as chairman for mishandling their finances. And that's why Bobby Walker replaced him as chairman. A guy who's proof as to why women say they choose the bear. Another member of the New York chapter, Joseph Maligno, is no longer general counsel for that group and is also now a former employee of the New York State Unified Court System. Meanwhile, a member of the Vermont Young
Just real quick, if people don't understand the bear reference, choosing the bear, they did a survey of women, and I can't remember how many women, and if they were alone, if they had a choice of being alone in the woods with a bear or a man, right? Women overwhelmingly chose a bear. Chose the bear. That was that reference. I'm sorry. I just needed to clarify that in case anybody didn't understand what that meant.
Republicans chapter and a state senator announced on Friday that he's going to resign. It really sucks for Samuel Douglas that he lost the confidence of a bipartisan group of Vermont state leaders, including the Republican governor. And it's important to mention that Samuel Douglas flipped a Vermont state Senate seat last year. Samuels' district is north of Montpelier, which is the capital of Vermont, and some of it borders Canada. It's also worth mentioning that his wife, Breonna Douglas, is also a member of the Vermont chapter, and she showed herself to be quite the shameless anti-Semite. And while people are allowing Breonna Douglas to skate for some reason, they're not offering the same grace to the Kansas Young Republican chapter. To her credit, Denedry Herbert, the chairwoman of the Kansas Republican Party, is not fucking around. Immediately following Politico's reporting on Tuesday, she ordered the immediate deactivation of the chapter. Sidebar, I really hope the Kansas Reflector fixed their error because it's definitely chairwoman, not chairman. So now let's look at the consequences for the former vice chair of the chapter, William Hendricks. He is now a former employee of the Kansas Republican Attorney General, Chris Kobach. There's no way to PR spin your way out of getting fired from a really nice job with the Attorney General. This is really going to make things interesting for the campaign trail of State Senate President Ty Masterson, who's running for governor. For context, Masterson represents Kansas's 16th Senate District, which encompasses a portion of the Wichita Greater area and east of it. So far, Masterson is standing by his white nationalist bros. I wonder what his constituents say about that. And since he's running for governor, I think the people of Kansas deserve to know why he's sticking by them. Perhaps Masterson should seek the advice of Democratic State Senator Cindy Holscher, who represents Kansas's 8th Senate District, who said, quote, "These aren't kids joking around. These are 20 and 30-something adults with leadership roles in the Republican Party. The chair of the Kansas Young Republicans who participated in these messages is nearly 30 years old. Unfortunately, this type of rhetoric is not isolated. For too long in Kansas, the Republican Party has been dominated by extremists who see no room for moderation or bipartisanship, let alone unity or mutual respect. Here's your crown, Queen."
Well done. Well done. Just put that very concisely.
Right. I mean, these are not kids. These aren't like
No.
young Republicans where these are high school kids or whatever. These are adults, and they have leadership positions, and in a lot of instances have very influential, right? Like here in New York, one was chief of staff to the top Republican, and you can't tell me that people didn't know. You can't tell me that this is like
absolutely.
unknown, right? Like, oh, we didn't know this was going on. Bullshit.
Well, it's funny that we talk about these chats that were revealed by Politico earlier this week. Also earlier this week, like the day after that came out, there was a state representative in Ohio was doing a podcast. He was on camera, and in the background to his right was a flag on the wall. In the center of it, the red stripes are made into the shape of a swastika, sitting right there on screen. I put it here, but actually, if we showed it, it would probably, get the video deplatformed. So you go Google that. I forgot the senator's name from Ohio, but I'll find that and put a link down below.
We talk about cancel culture, right? Like, and this idea of, okay, that's what you believe in. But if somebody chooses to fire you for that belief or not want to work with you because of that belief, that's also their right, right? Like we have a free society. We're at will employment society. Like, you have a right to what you believe. I don't understand like people, this idea. Like, I think that this whole thing about legitimizing hate, right? Like, oh, I should be able to do what I want and hate who I want and be able to shoot who I want and do like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I think people need to understand that this is again, it's not denying freedom of speech here, okay?
Right.
These are consequences of speech. We saw this last month following the Charlie Kirk assassination, with people who were outraged by anyone who didn't have, didn't show compassion or understanding for the loss. People to express their opinion, which they're entitled to. And so everybody called up and got them fired and thought that was fun to do. In many cases, it got out of hand. For example, in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, who didn't say anything negative, said nothing negative, but they wanted to silence him. But that was more political motivational silencing.
That wasn't, listen, the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing wasn't a free speech issue. And I think I even commented before that it wasn't a free speech issue. I mean, he works for a corporation. That corporation, I mean, just as it's everybody's right to say, well, you know what, we don't want to watch anything with that corporation, and it allowed millions of people to unsubscribe from that service. Like, there are consequences to every action, right? So if you're willing to deal with whatever consequences are for doing those actions, then hey, then go for it, right? Like, then that's your thing, right?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I mean, just like we have laws in place, right? Like, you want to go shoot somebody, we would prefer you not to shoot somebody, but if you're going to shoot somebody, there are consequences to that shit.
Exactly.
You're going to go to fucking jail. Like, there are consequences to everything. There are consequences to free speech. There are consequences to shooting. There are consequences to whatever it is that you're going to do. There are consequences. There have to be consequences. The only person that seems to not believe that there are consequences, right? And we can go back to our No Kings protest, is one person.
Yeah.
He sits in the White House, right? I mean, there are no consequences for him to anything. He gets away with whatever he wants. And that really comes down to their two-tier justice system, right? Of if you're rich and politically connected, nothing happens to you, and you get away with whatever you want. And if you're poor, working class, or minority or whatever, you're going to get shit on.
Yeah.
That's what people are angry about. That's why a lot of people, right? Not for nothing, not to make excuses for these people, but as Graham Plantner put, everybody feels disenfranchised. Everybody feels that something is wrong, that they're paying taxes and that social contract that they made with the government is no longer there. And they're getting, and you have one side. You got to remember, Democrats only talk in 7 states. They're only active in 7 states out of 50.
That's terrible.
Okay. So if you look at it that way, all the messaging is coming from the right in the other states.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you get? And then you have Fox News out there, and all you're getting is this propaganda bullshit. And so everybody's gotten to believe and has been deluded to believe that the 1% that is immigrants is receiving all the benefits of their tax dollars, right? Whereas and the wealthy are literally stuffing their pockets, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
right before our eyes. This is
billionaires
happening.
right.
It's
They're
happening right
stuffing
before
their
our
pockets.
eyes. I'm telling you. But, getting back to what happened here with these young Republicans, I mean, don't forget, this is an organization that encourages youth to join,
Yes.
and this kind of rhetoric, this kind of hatred is being presented to our youth. I have to wonder, are parents aware of this? Do you support this? Is this your thinking? Some of these, and I posted in a conversation in a Facebook chat, I posted an actual image of all of the quotations that were said from the political article. And there are things talking about if they don't vote our way, they're going to the gas chambers. I love Hitler. This is what we've become on the far right, and and I've gotten
Far
into
right. These are people in elected office. These are
I
people
know,
who
I
have
know.
been hired in positions of powers. This is not a radical fringe group, right? These are people making decisions for all of us.
Yeah, think about that.
Stop. Let's stop saying that this is a fringe group. This has become normal.
Yeah,
This is mainstream.
it is
now.
mainstream. No, you're right.
Right?
You're right.
I grew up hearing about how the left was indoctrinating our youth, right? And it's become clearer and clearer, especially with these group texts, right? Like we're not talking about the left indoctrinating the youth. We're talking about the right, with a mission that the left is impeding. Okay, that's what this becomes. It's one group of people fighting back against another group that has a mission, right? We're seeing this here in the town with the cover up of the finances. We saw this with the cover up of the police, right? And we're now seeing it with this. It's this idea that the people who oppose, right, who want transparency, who want listen, you may not agree with everything that the left wants to do, but at least they're freaking transparent about it, and you can argue your case.
Yeah.
Right? The right does everything listen, we don't want people to know about this because they're going to really fucking hate it, but this is great. This will be great.
Yeah.
What the
let's see
hell
how
is that?
Or we'll spin it. We'll spin it some other way.
Right.
That's I'm actually happy to see that there is some fallout, that there are consequences happening.
Are there?
Well, if it lasts, or if they
Are there? just because somebody is fired, you got to look where they land.
Good point. Good point.
Right? Like it damage control and cover up. That's what we've seen from this party. That's been a common theme that we've seen in local politics, right? All the time, right? You can't just say, okay, well, they were fired, right? I'm not saying that they don't deserve to earn a living. I'm not saying that they can't be hired by somebody else, but if the people who are terminating them are turning around and getting them a nice cushy job with somebody else,
All right, giving them a good review for their next career move,
or whatever it is, or they're gonna hide out for a couple of years, and 3 years from now they're gonna run for Congress or some position, and then say, oh well, that was just in my youth.
Yeah, and you're 31
Right?
years old already right now.
And it was 3 years ago. Listen, I think there's a big difference between a guy like Graham Plattner, who recently came out, said when he left the war, he came out and said a couple of things on Reddit which were really vile, right? Like, and he came out and he said, listen, I grew, I was very angry when I got out of the war, right? Like, that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
Right? We all
But he owned
grow.
it.
Right. We all grow, and he took accountability for it. None of these people are taking accountability. Have we seen one apology from any of these young Republicans?
No, not one.
Did we see anybody really come out and say, this is reprehensible speech. This is reprehensible.
Not from
These
the right.
ideas are right.
Now, the vice president was like, oh, they're just kids. So a 12-year-old woman a 12-year-old girl who gets, impregnated by a relative, she's old enough to be a mom, but a 35-year-old who's saying all this far-right anti-Semitic bullshit, I love Hitler and gas chamber stuff, they're just kids. That's the message from the vice president of the United States.
Well, it's interesting how they frame things, right? So if you're 25 years old, you're a kid, right? But if you're a 12-year-old girl, you're a woman.
Yeah. Yep. That's messaging.
That literally is exactly what we're being told, right?
Yep.
Like these 12-year-olds who are being groomed by Epstein, they were women.
Yeah.
Right? Or young women, right? Because we hear that term, young women.
Young
okay?
women. Yeah.
Right, young women.
They're girls.
But then
little girls.
Right. But then if you're 31 years old, you're a kid.
The state of our country. Messaging.
America.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not about hating America or loving America. It's about understanding and being able to look at things from a different viewpoint and being able to have these conversations.
Yeah.
That's what this is about, right? Like we have to be able to talk about these things. We have to be able to have a conversation across the aisles, right? I'm not looking to vilify anybody here, right? I'm just looking to say, like there are obviously people who feel passionately that they're being disenfranchised in some form, fashion, or another, right? They're being told that it's these other groups,
Yeah.
and that if these other groups weren't here, right, that they would be doing better. Okay.
Well,
there's something
there's
wrong
always
with that.
That's a lot of scapegoating that comes out. But in order for authoritarianism to take hold and to be successful, they always have a boogeyman. They always have someone that they point to. So we have immigrants, trans people, and we've gone to homeless people, we've gone to brown people. Now everyone on the left, all
Antifa.
of us.
We're all Antifa.
We're all Antifa. Everybody Antifa. Does that mean they're pro-fa? Should we start calling the right pro-fa? Because Antifa is the conjunction of anti-fascist, anti-fa. That's it. That's what it means. That's what it's always meant. So
And
do we?
it's actually, it just means it's really it was an anti-Nazi slogan.
Yeah,
Like it came about because people were like, we're not Nazis.
yeah. We're not fascist. We're not Nazis. But hey, so that's what I'm saying. Does that mean nothing says I'm a fascist more than labeling an entire people who are against fascism as terrorists. We saw yesterday that practically the whole country stood up in one voice peacefully throughout the country. I saw one arrest somewhere down south. That was a counter protester, a middle-aged woman.
Yeah, there was an arrest in Goshen too. There was a there was a pro-Trump supporter there who was trying to incite violence.
Yeah.
And ended up assaulting a police officer.
Really? I did not hear about that. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. I witnessed it. So I was a witness to that. I saw it firsthand.
And you didn't take a video? You were dressed in a dinosaur costume.
I was dressed in a dino outfit. Like, where the hell am I getting a camera from?
I don't know.
Dressed up as a giant dinosaur.
Well, you didn't have a pocket in your ass or something like that? You could just pull a camera out of your ass.
I had small arms. I had T-Rex arms.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. No, I didn't hear
I had T-Rex arms.
So here in Goshen, we had a problem. Down in the city, it was peaceful. It was, it's all marched quietly.
Listen, once that guy was taken away, it was very peaceful.
Yeah, you get one angry person, but
right.
Not on the left. Is my point here. We're a bunch of tree-hugging hippies. Well, maybe not.
It's just the idea of, like, at some point, the left and the right need to figure out what is creating, this youth disenfranchisement.
Yeah.
That we're seeing, right? And when you look at youth disenfranchisement, you're talking about economics, you're talking about jobs, you're talking about, the idea that a kid, right, can go to school for 4 years and have no job, right, and come out of school $100,000 in debt with no job.
Yeah.
Okay.
With no prospects. Yep.
Right. The fact that our parents worked for 30 years at the same job and they came out with a pension plan and they came out with all these things and we work for 30 years, or our kids are working for 30 years, right? And there's no pension.
Yeah.
You have a 401k with a couple of bucks in it and that they're going to tax to holy heaven. Okay. And then you also and then your Social Security, hasn't kept up with inflation or anything.
Right.
Right. Or with cost of living. I mean, there's a lot here. I mean, you're having, what is it? Something like, I think kids have like 35 or 40% of your taxes or your paycheck going to taxes, and you're getting zero benefit from it, or at least they feel that they're getting zero benefit from it.
Well, now they really are. I mean, we could have a whole episode discussing the big bad fugly bill, and what the real truth is in there. Because just real quick, your taxes are not going down. It's going down for the wealthy class, but for the rest of us, we're actually going to see an increase. I know what they keep selling you. Oh, it's the tax lowering and jobs create. No, there ain't no jobs. Jobs are disappearing. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you fire, how many labor board people you fire. You can't deny the fact that people are losing their jobs. You can't deny the fact that salaries are not increasing. They're laying stagnant, particularly when jobs become less, when jobs get reduced. That means salaries can come down because there isn't as much competition, where employers have to compete to get hold of the workforce. Now it's the other way around. There's a bigger pool. They can pay whatever they want. So your salaries end up leveling off. And so that creates more disillusionment and more hostility. But I don't think you're pointing the hostility in the right direction.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, who's talking to them? I mean, you have the Democrats. Democrats aren't talking any populist ideas. They're not offering anything to the the next generation. All they're offering to the next generation is destitution. Right? No jobs, no prospects, no no money, no retirement, no I mean, most of these kids are
Well,
working
that's coming
gig
from all
jobs now.
sides. That's coming from all sides. You're
But
getting
but
empty
the,
promises from the right that aren't being
but
delivered.
but the right is pointing the finger, right?
Right.
So the right is telling you, right? I mean, what do we hear? We heard Marjorie Taylor Greene talk about Jewish space lasers, right? We had I mean, it's this idea, right? Like you hear the phrase, like the stereotypes, the Jews control Hollywood. You have you have these things out there, right? These stereotypes that just keep getting perpetuated over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
And at some point in time, you're growing up in that environment, right? And you're seeing, well, these are the people to blame for my lot in life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the political class loves to do that, because the political class, when they do that, that means that you're not blaming them, right? The idea is,
Good point.
blame others, cover
That's
up
it right
the
there.
issues. Right. Blame
That-
others, cover up the issues, right? We're seeing this locally. You see this, at the state level, and you see this federally, right? It's cover up the issues, blame somebody else for the problem, right? We're not going to fix anything. Okay. And that way we can continue the grift, whatever that may be, right?
Absolutely.
Of benefits. And we need to elect better people. They may be our neighbors, and we may think we know them, or that we're friends with them, or we grew up with them, or we know their parents. Like, fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like seriously, start asking good questions, start talking to people, right? Like, start looking at your neighbors. Is your neighbor the guy that you want to trust with your money?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
start figuring shit out. Like, I mean, this is crazy. And one of my final thoughts on this is, I think local candidates, right, including the ones here in the town of Waco, Ralph Carr, Mark Coyne, Eric Johnson, Eric Valentin, I think they should all come out, and even George Serrano, right? They should all come out and denounce this.
Yeah.
They have a meeting in 2 weeks. They should all come out and denounce this, because I know at least 2 of those people on that board, right? Actually, 3 people on that board, right? Believe that shit.
Really?
Yes, because I heard it. I lived it.
Wow.
As a Jew, I lived it, right? And I'm going to tell you, right, everybody, that should just be a litmus test. They should all come out and just say, we condemn this. We don't want this, and we don't believe in this in our community. I think they'll say it anyway, just to play lip service to it, or they may not
but
say
they don't
anything
believe
at
it.
all. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, it's really disgusting. It really is disgusting. People should really take better care to learn who they're voting for and who are representing them.
Yep. So again, getting back to November 4th, big election. It's an off year as far as the major elections, and it's the reason why you need to be involved in every election. Local, town, state, school boards. Those will be coming up too. Keep an eye on who's going in there, because people like these young Republicans, these people could be running for your school boards. All right. So keep smiling, like, share, subscribe to all our socials. Go look us up. All right. And leave us a comment. Love to hear from you. All right. Take care, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Peace out.